Excuse me.
Greetings. Excuse my erratic behavior. Snazzy.
No planet's crawling with psychopathic killers.
Wildstar. Adventure is about to get an ass kicking.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of This Week in Wildstar. This is episode 7. I am Jazzy, joined here today by my co-host Nuts and Cabal. How we doing today, fellas?
Very good. Thanks for asking.
Not bad. Looking forward to it.
Ooh, there's a lot of cool stuff going on this week. A lot of big stuff. Open beta, finally here. And with that comes the name Reservations. We had a couple live streams from the Carbine team this week, and a huge AMA from Gaffney. Gave us a lot of insight about what's going to happen at launch. And then we had a lot of really cool stuff going on around the community. We had an infamous tweet from Frost. The tweet heard around the world. We had Scooter is sadly going to be leaving Carbine. Very sad.
Single tear.
I know. We have a couple of community members. We have Team Legacy's No Fan Left Behind initiative and a great fan artist, SaltyOkra. We're going to talk about all this and more. Stick around. All right, guys, so the big one. Finally here. We're in the home stretch. We have started open beta.
Yes.
Open beta actually started a few days ago. It's going to run from May 8th through the 18th. Did you guys see that awesome trailer, by the way?
Yeah,
it totally
I was
did.
so going to talk about
Epic
that trailer.
is that trailer.
Yes.
Chills.
That, one of the cool things with that trailer, though, was like, you watch a lot of Wildstar, trailers or videos they put out, and, they all got the humor to them or whatever. But when I sat and watched this thing, I felt like I was sitting in a movie theater. I'm like, just imagining the big screen, and that whole feeling, it was like,
Definitely.
I was like, oh, yeah. And
Now it gets serious.
that was really, it was cool. And it was a nice change versus just, kind of having that same old, concept that they're throwing by, and breaking out and having something different. I thought it was really cool. I liked it.
I'm happy that they finally decided to, which I've been telling people about for weeks on the show. I'm sure you've heard me guys talk about it. They finally decided to showcase the kind of more serious understory that the game has. And oh my gosh, like when I watched it with my husband and he was like, that should be their, advertising trailer. That should be their launch trailer.
Oh, absolutely. You totally, like I said, you just feel like, okay, I'm ready. What's next? Like you're waiting for this big thing to just come. By the time that trailer's over, you're like, I want it. Give me more, and that was totally
sure.
cool. I expected that to be like out on TV commercials or something, or just something, on the net where it's like when you hit Wildstar, bam, you're hit with this trailer and you're just like left with, give me more of that.
Yeah, seriously, if you don't feel like, paying for it, I believe you could just go to their website now and download and play it.
Yep.
It's free.
I think one of the cool parts with the trailer, like you mentioned, they were showing the more, serious side of Wildstar and the more serious undertone. And I thought that was really good because
Everyone knows it as like a goofy game.
Yeah.
But
I've even seen
it
some
has
people
a serious
say
story.
that the goofy nature of the game has kind of turned people off to it because they don't really showcase a lot that, hey, it's got another story here, there's another story being told. And for this beta, they've actually raised the level cap one more time. First they had it at, 17, I think, and then they moved it to 20. Now it's at 30.
Yep.
So at 30, you're able to experience 3 dungeons, several trip-ins and adventures, several different zones, all the PvP.
I haven't even played the 3rd dungeon yet.
Oh yeah, at level 30 there's a new one that opens up.
Man, I gotta do it.
So they're really offering, the full preview of what the game will offer, other than obviously you can't get into the raiding, which is a huge part of it, or any kind of rated PvP. But really, yeah, you get the full view of what the game is about. And another thing for it too, full 10 days, full 24/7, 24/10, I guess, access to the game. It's not a weekend like it was before.
Well, which is nice, because with the raising the level cap and so forth is, to me, adding transparency. You know, they're not hiding behind anything. They're saying, here's our game. Bam. Here it is. And check it out. And, well, if you don't like it, so be it. But, you know, I think they're so confident with it, as rightfully they should be, that they're willing to just put it out there and, hey, go for it.
Yeah, Gaffney actually said that on the live stream. He said, look, there's not a lot of games out there that have the balls to do it. To just throw their game out there for free, to let anybody play it. And they said, you know, we believe a good game sells itself, and we think we have a good game. So we're not worried.
But he's right, though. Very few games will say, here it is. Very few do. And most have this veil of what you don't know. Here, they've been transparent, interactive with the community. They're not removed from the community. Yeah. And now they're opening up the game saying, have at it, folks.
Speaking of the devs being interactive, late last night, for me anyway, it was like 2 a.m., I was on the game, I was in the beta, and I was just running around Ilium, and I found this creature that looked like a Chua, but it was like really tall. And I took a picture of that, and I tweeted it to Pappy, and I said, what is this, and is it related to the Chua? And he answered me. He told me exactly what it was, and he told me, no, it's not related to the Chua. But I mean, it's that level of interaction. You don't expect that from a dev team.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like right there, like, this is what it is, here you go. Thanks. You know, so that's really cool.
I bet you screenshotted when he sent you the message back.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I would have.
Maybe I will
just
later.
talk to me.
But I mean, maybe I'm spoiled because, like I said, they do. I mean, I'm on Twitter quite a bit, especially more lately, and they interact with everybody. So, I mean, where it is a big thing in other games, it's not really, you know, as much of an uncommon thing to the point where I would want to, you know? It's just always there. I mean, it's really cool, though, that it's like that. Another thing, too, that they did with this beta is that they actually opened up the EU data center, finally, so that people in that region can test, you know, and not have a really high ping, which is something everybody's been asking for.
Yeah.
So that's available now. And then 2 other really cool things. This was something that I asked them on Twitter, again, just to the Wildstar account, about mystery boxes. I sent them a tweet and asked them if we were going to get the mystery boxes, or boom boxes. I can't call them that. I think
I can't either.
Radios.
I know.
I can't
So I
call
thought they
them boom
were.
boxes.
I thought that was like a separate thing you could buy.
Yeah.
They're going to send you a bunch of radios when the game launches.
Like, is it like a housing item? I could play like Wildstar music? Oh, that'd be cool.
They said that you will get the mystery boxes, 3 mystery boxes, for every day you log into the open beta as well. That's something that'll be really cool.
A lot.
It's going to be a
You're
lot.
not going to have enough room in your inventory.
That's
something that they did say too, along with this announcement, it was on the page. You'll only be able to open one of them a day.
Yes.
Which I was
have for like a year.
Yeah. I think I did the math, and I was going to be somewhere between 80 and 90 of them for myself.
Wow. Yeah.
So for 3 months, I'll be opening a box every single day.
But, you know, it's nice that they're saying, okay, guys, even coming into the open beta, we're not gonna leave you out. We'll give you the perk too, which I think that's fantastic.
And the other thing that people are gonna get that were a part of the open beta is you're actually gonna get the full Highwayman's costume too.
Oh yeah.
Which is a legit looking costume, I must say.
Yeah.
One of my favorites as a spell slinger, personally.
Yeah, I do like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, you're gonna get the full costume.
The thing with that is everyone's going to be wearing it, so it's not special.
I know.
You know?
Maybe for a while.
Yeah, that'd be cool to have, no doubt.
I think you give it a couple years down the pike, and if you still got that thing sitting around, I think you pull that out, people be like, ooh. Or you're going to have new people come in, they're going to eventually have forgotten about them and be like, hey, where'd you get that?
It'll be like the new Thunder Fury.
Yeah, in the beginning, though, you're right. I think a lot of people have.
Thunder Fury.
See, everyone had
I don't want
Thunder
to talk
Fury,
about
right?
Thunder Fury.
Except for Nuts. Nuts didn't have Thunder Fury. Anyway, moving on. Talking about the name Reservations.
I was wrecking fools in PvP, that's why.
Sorry. The name reservations, by the time this comes out, it will start today. So by the time you guys are hearing this, it starts May 13th through the 23rd. You'll be able to log onto the Wildstar website and reserve a name for a character and for a guild. You're only
Awesome.
you're
Sorry.
only going to get one per person though, and they're first come, first serve.
It's cool that they're doing it. I think, you know, because
that right now.
there's a lot of games that have sat there and said, "Oh, we're going to do name reservations" in the past, and turned out come up with nothing,
Yeah.
you know. And it's cool that they're following through with that, you know.
The only thing that's kind of a downside and something that I don't really like, the names themselves are going to be reserved globally.
Ouch. That's
Yeah.
going to be tough. That is going to be tough.
You're not just fighting with people on a certain server or faction, you're fighting with everyone around the world who has pre-ordered the game to
Yeah.
get the name you want. And that page or that server, whatever they're doing, that thing better be like triple, double, quadruple backed up, because that thing is going to
Yeah.
get bombarded.
I'm
Oh
going to
my
try to be
gosh.
one of them. Trying to crash it, I suppose, with my name reservation. I will be there.
I don't even know why they're doing it for 10 days, honestly, because I can probably guarantee you that like
Yeah.
90% of the people who did the pre-order and have this option to reserve a name are going to do it on the very first day. It doesn't need to last for 10 days.
I still, no, at 10 days, absolutely not. I still think you will have, though, a group of folks that, you know, just say, I can't realistically, even if they want to, you know, they're going to, it's going to be when I get home from work,
Yeah.
I'm going to get in. But, you know, 1-2 days, maybe. You know,
Yeah.
maybe somebody accidentally got in an accident and came into a coma or something.
Yikes.
Give them the opportunity, I guess.
Probably the least of their worries then.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's
I gotta
true.
get out of this coma so I can reserve my Wildstar name.
They'll be thinking about it while they're laying there.
Horrible. Jesus.
Oh, they're totally gonna take my game name.
But yeah, and then also names are going to be attached to your email address. They're not going to give a server list, so you're not going to sign up for like a certain server. It's just going to be attached to the email, which I guess is associated with your Wildstar account or your NCSoft account. But in the thing too, they said that they're not going to release a server list. In fact, I know we were going to talk about the AMA later, but this was something I gleaned from the AMA in this, you know, category we were talking about. The tech guy actually said that they're going to try and hold the server names until like 24 to 72 hours before head start. I was like, yikes. Really?
Well, but you know what? I think they got a lot up their sleeve. I think they got a lot that they have not given people yet. And I think that we played the closed beta, we played the open beta, and we're like, and we've seen the progress, and we're like, wow, every time we're wowed, look at what they did. And I still think they got some big hammers up their sleeve that they're going to drop that are just are really going to make us go.
Every episode
"Oh."
we have something cool to talk about. It's just like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's what keeps us going. It's cool stuff to talk
Yeah.
about.
There will be no short supply with Wildstar. I can guarantee you that.
So another great thing that the Carbine people did is when the open beta started, they did a live stream called Devs Unleashed, which was basically they could talk about anything they wanted to. So there was a lot of questions asked all over the place. Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, on the Twitch stream, they had them everywhere. And along with that, at the same time, on Saturday, Gaffney was doing an AMA on Reddit as well. So they had a ton of questions going all over the place. On Saturday, they actually did a 6-hour live stream.
Which, you know, for those guys, you know, as much as we sit there and go, this is awesome because we're going to get new information, they're just going to get cut loose and let to say whatever, you know, they're still slipping things,
Yes.
tidbits that they're not
They did too,
supposed to.
didn't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
they did. And but it, you know, you got to think on their end too. It's got to be fun just to be able to say,
Yeah.
for the most part, except for a few things, they probably get to really carte blanche, let go information, and to be able to talk about it and all the things they've been doing and what they're going to do versus don't talk about any of it.
And I think it's kind of funny to see all these inside jokes that we don't understand what they know. They know what they're talking about.
All right, so we've got this broken down, what we gleaned from the AMA and from the stream, pulled out a bunch of really cool, really awesome information. So first we're going to talk about PvP.
Up.
Which Supreme Commander Nuts
Yes,
is
introducing.
On the case.
Introducing his first-time debut, Supreme Commander Nuts.
He's
the
officially
PvP
taken that title, folks.
PvP master.
PvP master. All right, so the first thing that I'm not too happy about myself, because I was glad a game was finally not doing this, after apparently people want this, I guess I'm the minority, they will be allowing costumes in PvP, but it will be a post-launch feature.
You know, I'm going to have to go the other way on it. I think it's all right, you know, because, you know, a lot of PvP, I mean, I'm not a big PvP guy. I'll right up front, you know, PvP, run away, you know, but with that in mind, you know, I would think in doing PvP, you look across, you see, you know what race, you see what gear, you see what weapon, you probably can glean a bit of information from that. And if now you're allowed to put on some costumes, you know, hopefully it doesn't get too out of hand. I wouldn't want to see it go that far, but you know, it might make it a little more difficult to totally identify, I know X, Y, and Z about that before I've even started.
Well, that's the reason that I didn't really like it. The first thing actually that came to mind was that you can costume naked.
Oh.
So if people are doing that,
See, yeah, that's too far to the other end. I agree.
and that's the first thing that I thought of. But me myself, I would call myself a casual PvPer. I'm not like hardcore into it like Supreme Commander Nuts there, but I do it occasionally from time to time. I've done rated arenas and BGs and other games, but I like the fact that you can identify someone just instantly by looking at them. You can see like what they're wearing, you know, their weapon and all that. But I think it's even worse in Wildstar to allow that. Like, I understand they don't want to exclude people. I get that. You know, it's okay as far as that goes. I get that part. But in Wildstar, you can costume any armor type. So my concern is that people will put on costumes of like other classes to try and look like something else.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I could see what you're going with that. Yeah.
I mean, I know as soon as they start hitting you, you know, if they're a warrior wearing like a long robe or something trying to look like an Esper and they're hitting you with a giant sword, yeah, you're gonna know what they are.
That's the whole thing of going too far to the other end, that I hope that there is, I hope they allow it, but with some constraint, you know, some form of latitude. We'll let you go this far, we'll let you go that far, but not just have at it where, oh, you can costume naked and just go at it. I mean, I agree.
And my thought was they should let you, if you're PvPing, they should let you costume PvP gear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be, you know, the most acceptable, because you can't buy the other classes PvP gear, but you can buy, you know, other PvP sets of your own class, and it can be a costume as well. So that was my thought. They could do something like that as a compromise, you know? We
got my opinion. We got your opinion. Now, why don't we get Supreme Commander Nuts to weigh in
I was
on
waiting
the
to hear
final,
both of yours.
Final disposition of this thing. What's being the PvP expert in-house? What do you think on that?
So I'm going to kind of crack it down. And this game I'm about to mention isn't an MMO in any way, shape, or form. But in relation to this topic, I think it makes sense. And this game is DayZ. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it's like a zombie apocalypse game. And it's all about PvP, pretty much. And the thing with that game is you're able to see what they're wearing and what kind of weapon they have. And then you know what they're capable of, their range, their damage, and stuff like that. And in terms of Wildstar, if you see a spellslinger, and you know the armor, or what the armor looks like the sets, and you could tell just by, because when you scroll over somebody, you don't see if they're support or damage, right? So if you were to see what kind of armor they have, then you know what their capabilities are. And I'm kind of iffy on the topic as a whole. Like, I like that they're not excluding everybody, but at the same time, they're taking away a technical advantage from people who know what things look like.
Yeah, kind of like what I was saying.
Exactly. So I'm kind of like on both your sides, but like from a tactical standpoint, if you know what they're rolling, then you could change your tactic to, you know, have an advantage over them.
Yeah.
So that's...
And I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, you don't want it so you can see, you know, if they have crappy gear so you can just roll over them. And that's not at all what I mean, you know.
No.
Well,
I just want to know what they are just by glancing at them.
With my little spiel there, like, it might be flawed because I think most of the armor, if it's like different, correct me if I'm wrong, but the things that I've seen, if it's like support or assault, they're just kind of like recolored. They're not really, they're not really a different armor at all. So I guess that might change it, but like still knowing what it is, like obviously, like Jazzy said, if you see a warrior in robes and a giant sword on his back, he's probably not a Esper. I mean, still seeing what kind of armor they have and what they're capable of and what you should expect.
So there are tactical advantages to
there can be
having it straightforward that maybe would lend a little bit more to the game in theory.
Yeah, in theory. But at the same time, it's adding like variety where you could do with the costumes. Obviously, it's all cosmetic, so it won't change anything really but your appearance. But.
So the final draw on it is a thumbs up, but within reason.
Yeah, they need to do something to
with
kinda,
constraint.
Yeah.
I feel like it
balance
should
it.
be in your class at least.
Yeah.
Like they can't wear, warriors can't wear Esper clothing.
Right.
They can't be naked.
Yeah.
That's just obscene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really the first thing I thought of. I'm like, okay, here comes a bunch of naked PvPers.
Oh, so that's the first place Jazzy's mind goes. Now we see.
It's whatever, you know. That's how I roll. What can I say?
It is what it is. First thoughts.
Moving on. Next thing.
Next.
They actually, Jen Gordy actually revealed that there's going to be a new battleground 2 months after launch called Daggerstone Pass, and it's going to be a 15 versus 15 match.
Nice.
Didn't really go into a lot of details about what exactly is involved in it, but I did see a couple weeks ago somebody had data mined a new map, and it looked kind of like a soccer field almost.
Oh God.
So I don't know if Daggerstone Pass really lends to that. It could be something else. I'm hoping Hutball. That's the only
Yeah, I was
thing.
gonna ask. You guys see? Are you guys ever played this before?
No.
Never played it, but I've seen videos and it looks
there's, like,
amazing
something
and everyone
called
loves
Hutball.
it. But, but there will be at least one new battleground. It's 15v15 2 months after launch. So they do have that planned.
That's just a cool name. I like that name. Daggerstone.
Daggerstone Pass.
Yeah.
That just gives you a cool mental picture. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm going there.
Yeah, and I hope just because of the name Daggerstone, it doesn't sound like a soccer.
No.
No.
Background. No, it doesn't.
No.
But I'm still
sounds
wondering what
like-
that map was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It said BG. It said like BG test and a bunch of numbers. So who knows? Maybe Hutball.
Might be a future one later.
And then the other cool thing they talked about,
Hutball.
which this was something that I had wondered myself, artifact PvP weapons. Because they have those for PvE. We've all heard about it. That pink dough.
Yes.
And we talked about that extensively last episode.
How could you not?
But they said that they will be added, but they're not in at launch.
Super cool. Because they should have their artifact weapons too, because you got to remember with the gear and the weaponry, they're talking about having a major divide that you're not going out doing PvP to get a PvE slotted item just to be able to do X-raid or to get a gear score up or whatever the case, that they're going to be completely separated. And I think that's outstanding.
It seems like what they're going for is one of the tech guys. It wasn't Jen Gordy. This was actually said on the AMA. They said that they will be extremely difficult to get, just like the ones in raids. They will be extremely challenging to power them up. and you will probably see them as season rewards. So you have to be extremely good getting those top, 5, 10, 2%, whatever they break it off at, to get those artifact weapons.
So it's potentially sort of like if you do the arena season and you rank high, you get X reward. And you know what? That's cool. It gives you something to really vie for and getting a high ranking for the people that are really into the PvP. Anyhow. Yes, I was talking about you, Nuts. It definitely gives them something to vie for and to really, hold up there as, hey, look at what I got. And that's very cool.
There's a lot of people that will play games, MMOs specifically, for just competitive PvP. I don't know if Nuts is going that far, but they play exclusively to that extent, and that's something really good for them to strive for. And the only thing I wonder is after that point, let's say they offer that as like a season 1 reward, and then, these people get their artifact weapon. Well, what are they going to do next time,
Yeah. And do you guys think that it's going to be strictly seasonal rewards, or do you think maybe you have a really low % chance of getting it in like a max level battleground, like if you were to win, like you get the treasure chest?
That's all they said to this point.
I think they're leaving room for interpretation, and I think that you can't put it beyond them to pull a little rabbit out of the hat and kind of surprise you with what they're going to come up with. I mean, I think mentioning the seasonal reward is kind of the given that everybody kind of knows that if there's going to be rankings, there's going to be battle seasons, that there's going to be obviously some kind of uber reward. So I think that's a given. They do kind of throw those extra things in there, and you're like, hey, that's cool. I wasn't ready for that.
All right. The other thing, this is really cool, and I would love to see this. They would like to put in a spectator mode as well as full Twitch integration.
All I gotta say was that one. They were listening.
Yeah.
All I gotta say.
A really good idea.
Full Twitch integration would be amazing in an MMO.
I believe we did mention that would be very cool, and yes,
great for
that would be very cool.
Like contests and competitions and stuff like that.
For sure, like guild events or server events. To do like a spectator mode. I think watching war plots would be just amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I'm not a massive PvPer, but if they had war plots going on and I could sit there and say, they're holding a seasonal event or whatever, or the top 10 ranking, war plotters are going at it, and it's, team ranked 5 versus team ranked 6, they're having that. I would actually sit there and think, boy, if I could kind of get a semi-aerial over the battleground to watch what everybody's doing, I could see on a slow day sitting there going, hey, I'm going to sit and watch this. And then especially if they integrate it with Twitch, oh boy.
Yeah, as well, as having full Twitch integration, being able to just launch it from the game to if you want to stream, whatever you're doing, Another thing here that people have been complaining about, at least on our server, Nexus, being the original beta server, hardcore original beta players here. That is a PvE server, so the guards for cities are really strong, or for, quest hubs or little towns, whatever, because it's not a PvP server. So something that they address that a lot of people complain about is that guards on PvP servers are going to be weaker. It'll be easier to do, town raids and things like that, which everyone loves. And also, in the last patch notes, they actually removed a lot of sanctuaries or, safe zones from the leveling experience too on PvP servers. So a lot more world PvP can occur.
I like that. I like it a lot because
I'm sure you do.
Well, I mean, if you look at other games and you go to like a PvP server, the only thing that really changes is certain areas you can be attacked all the time, but nothing else really changes, right? Like it's just that you can just be attacked anywhere.
PvP,
But now it encourages you, or it's a less of a deterrent for you to like go and attack the other faction because things are weaker and you can actually get up a group and not be totally decimated by one guard.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot because it encourages the PvP in a PvP server.
Yeah, and it encourages people like on a city raid or something to, mount a defense against people coming in because, everybody's going to get wrecked if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be mean here, but, if you don't want to have that sort of experience where people are going to be raiding a lot because the guards are weaker, then go to a PvE server.
That's true.
Then it won't happen.
There's nothing really mean about that.
Okay, but let's look at this another way. Then you have players such as myself, where my guild is going to a PvP server, and I must come along. I can just see my guy. There's going to be a raid on my capital city, and I'm going to be sitting in the corner behind a bale of hay with my head hung low going, oh, not again.
The thing is, too, with that, as long as you're inside your city and you don't attack them, they can't attack you.
Oh.
So.
Oh, is that in PvP server?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, because when
safe.
you go,
You're safe for now.
Yeah, it's a
yes.
Your main city, is a sanctuary, always and forever, in like any MMO, really. Within 5 minutes of you being in a contested area. I was gonna say, as long as you don't go to a contested area, you won't be flagged for PvP. All right. And another cool thing, they've only talked about their holiday events briefly, but they did say that their holiday events will include objectives for PvP players as well as PvE. So they're not excluding anyone there either. Very nice.
I like how they do that. Like, they don't exclude anyone.
Yeah. They try to include as many people as possible in everything they do.
They work on that whole thing of it's a social game and bringing people together. Even if you're not grouping, they're still bringing you together, which good things can come in that.
All right. So that's going to be it for the PvP stuff. Signing
Now,
off, Supreme Commander Nuts.
Yep, you just sit and take a back seat now there, Commander.
The big dog's here. Let me take over. I got this. All right. So PvE, the stuff that everyone cares about, because nobody cares about PvP.
Okay. All right.
Kicked.
Better not see you in the open world.
Bring it. You gotta catch me first. Shots fired. Anyway, PvE. All right. So we talked a little bit about the realm names before, but they said that the EU realm names are going to or should stay the same. They haven't 100% confirmed that, but they should stay the same. The North American realms, however, are going to change a lot. They said that initially they had named the servers. They had 4 servers when they first put everything in. Most people played on Nexus, but they opened up a lot of them. They were named like Alizar, Alicia, I never say this name right, the Ignor's, I can't say it, but
the Ignoramus.
Something like that. They were named after the 4 continents of the game, basically. They said they ran into the problem of, when people would put in bug reports, they would say like, Alicia is crashing Alizarel, and they'd be like, okay, is that Alicia the server or Alicia the continent? Like, it got really confusing for them to, deal with bug reports of that nature. So that's their big reasoning. They said that they're going to change the North American realm names. They did add more, for open beta, but they said that that's not the final list.
Unless you're, into the, the role-playing aspect, it might be important for some people, but as a whole, it's a realm, and whatever kind of order you need to make out of it so that good things flow down. That's good.
I mean, and the other reason they would kind of need to change some of them too is not really the names, I guess maybe names with this, but they have like 8 PvE servers and like 2 PvPs, and one of them is Oceanic.
Oh, wow.
So they've said that they're trying not to open a ton of realms, which is why they want to hold the server list, because they don't want to say, okay, we're going to have A, B, and C server, and then everybody plans to go, and then, everybody piles on A and B, and a few people on C, and then, they kind of don't want to use C, but they have to because people have already planned to be there, and then it just spreads out the population. So they're trying to, kind of fill as many servers as possible before opening up new ones. So I get what they're doing, and then the other thing, they had, I think, one role-playing RP PvE server. They had no RP PvP servers and no just RP servers. So they kind of need to spread out the server types a little more as well.
Yeah, I could see, if they're doing, a couple PvE, couple PvP, you know, a couple PVERPG, NPQRST.
I threw a lot of letters at you there. I know. But and the other thing too that is kind of funny, if you don't know anything about the lore, the North American PvP server is named Pergo. It's PERGO, but I've already heard people saying Prego. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really hope this.
It's a spaghetti sauce.
Exactly. But what's funny is Pergo is actually the name of one of the moons from the Chua planet. So
it's also the name of flooring.
Yeah. Exactly.
Pergo floors.
Or people are saying Prego, yeah, like, you know, like you're pregnant.
People are making no sense.
Yeah.
People are already making fun of it, so I'm like, I really hope they get another one, because I kind of don't want that server. Even though I love my Chua. I don't want to be on the Prego server.
Yeah, I could see that.
So,
But it's just a server name.
It's everything.
I know.
What are you talking about?
My whole existence boils down to my server choice.
Exactly. All right. So another cool thing, and we've talked about before on the show about people upset that they don't have oceanic data centers, not servers. There is a difference. They said in the AMA that they may experiment with hosting data centers in Korea. So kind of little, not quite oceanic, but a little closer, I guess.
Yeah,
In there.
It makes me wonder on the move. I mean, is there a large player base coming out of there, or is it just located in a geographical convenient location? Or
I mean, because another thing they said is they're also looking into Asian servers. You know,
Oh, okay.
kind of Asian server type, you know.
Then they must have a player base coming out of there.
So yeah, I mean, and they do have oceanic servers, which are, you know, more labeled that for time zone differences. They're
Right.
not labeled that for data centers, which I'm sorry, guys. I know you want them, but I'm sorry. But yeah, they talked about, you know, doing it in Korea. So maybe that'll help a little bit.
Patience, my friend.
We'll get there. It might take a while.
You know, we're not even at launch yet.
They want to do it. It's a matter of, you know, obviously they're limited in their funding, you know, being a new IP, they're given so much. And I've even heard them talk about before that, you know, there's so much they want to do, but they're limited by the space
you know
that
what?
they have.
All I got to say about this, hold on, let's be fair. Over on the EU side, they got a collector's box.
That's right.
We did not.
You guys got a steel
So-
box.
Yes. So you can wait for your other stuff over there.
So
It's
I
our
think
turn.
I might have to be a hardcore fan girl and totally order one of those.
Oh, are you?
I think I might need to.
Granted,
be
I
a
don't
thing.
think I bought one either way, even if we did have one, but I have money.
Well,
Sad
money is what most things
That's because
boil
you put
down.
all your money in the swear jar because you were talking about that other game so much.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
See, we got a
Ka-ching.
counter going for you
Ka-ching.
now.
making me poor. I'm
Hey,
gonna lose my computer.
He's gonna be the supreme poor commander nuts.
Yeah.
Supreme in debt commander.
Boom boxes.
Boom
Boom.
boxes.
Boom. Boom
We're getting
boxes.
stereos. That's all it is.
Super
We're gonna call
rare.
them boom boxes. They better look like stereos when I get them. That's all I'm saying.
I believe they do.
Do
I
they?
believe they do.
What if
I
they're-
believe so.
What if they're just like a box and you pull a lever and it goes
Oh,
boom and then you get your
explodes?
stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a
As a
Chua.
Chua, I'm
but
totally down with that.
That would be funny.
Yes.
That would be better, but I believe I've seen a picture of this and I believe they do look like boom boxes.
We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
All
Definitely
right.
look
So
into
the
it.
reason we're talking about boom boxes. All right. So they said the boom boxes will come with a lot of super rare, awesome items. They actually said that a lot of them are tradable, and some can even be sold on the auction house.
I like that. I think that's
So
really
that's
neat.
kind of cool. Maybe for people coming in
Yeah.
that didn't get to play in beta.
Yeah.
Reason. They did say though that most of the items will be character bound,
Yeah.
and they may make more of the items, you know, unlocked on your whole account. So if you ever make another character, it gets access to them too.
Which is a good idea.
But I think they said right now the only thing that's account bound at the moment is the mounts.
It's, but it's nice that they do have, some things that can be tradable, because everything just becomes so bind on pickup, and you're kind of like, oh, you know, it'd be nice if I could shelter some of these around, but it'd be great. It's good for the economy too, you know, to be able to say we can take some of these things that you get, you know, in the beta, the open betas or whatever, and that can become a tradable commodity.
Well, the thing I thought of too is that, you know, there's going to be people like me that have played every single weekend, every single event, every single time. I'm going to get every single box that was available. At any point, I'll have it. Like I said, I'll have 80 to 90 of these damn boxes. I'll be opening them for 3 months.
you probably get you're probably going to get some duplicate items more than
Probably.
likely.
And then, like I was saying, there's going to be people that maybe are only going to play an open beta, maybe have only played 1 or 2 beta weekends. You know, they're not going to have nearly as many. So they're going to want to, you know, trade or buy, you know, the things that they weren't able to get because they didn't have as many boxes as someone like myself. And another thing that Gaffney said was that if they add more of the boom boxes in the future, they'll make another series of them to entice people not to hoard them, you know, thinking that the items are going to change and they should open them later.
Did you guys see that they plan on adding a companion pet system post-launch?
Yes.
I think that is going to open up a lot of neat things to do.
There's a few in the game already, but yeah, they're going to add a ton more, they said. Which is funny. Frost didn't look very happy about that. I don't think he's a pet guy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. When they were saying it, he's like, yes.
You know, I think it's a necessary part. I mean, I'm not a big pet guy either, and I think it's crucial to have the system in place. People love it.
That's
people
right. I'll take all
gather.
your pets.
Yeah, people gather around it. They love it.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I don't need a full system like the battle pets like
No.
I had in the other game. I mean, it
yeah.
was cool. I love Pokemon. I'm a huge nerd, but I don't need that. It was fun. It was something to do, like in the off, you know, whatever. Plus, I'm an achievement junkie, so I pretty much had to do it just to feed my addiction there. But I mean, I just want some little pets. The thing that I really want, personally, I want like pets that can walk around your housing plot.
That would be neat.
That's
I'd
the
like
thing
that.
I want to see.
Yeah.
I want some Rosdowers, and I want some Q-Pigs.
Or Chupacabras. Those things are
Chupacabras.
horrible.
Yes, I want all of these things running around my house. Something that they said also in the AMA was that they're actually going to have an authenticator available for Android and iPhone from day one.
And
That's good.
those-
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of people were concerned about, myself being one of them.
I was right there with you.
So
Right there.
I'm glad that they decided to add that. Thank you.
Yes,
I've seen that
because-
question asked quite a bit.
I mean, how many? I mean, let's face it. I've had an account hacked. I don't know if you have, but I
4
have.
times.
Yep.
And,
4.
yeah, that sucks. And it's
Yeah.
like you log in and you're like, oh God, no.
Yeah.
All I gotta say
Ridiculous.
is this could be nasty, but you people that do that, you suck.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh yeah, they
That's-
do. And that's why I'm glad
Oh,
that
that's-
Wildstar has, you know, some of the stuff in place that they do to try and, you know, prevent botting. I mean, you can't completely prevent it, but they have stuff like, you know, nodes coming to life and, you know, making it more viable to buy cred, you know, to buy that stuff legally. I actually got into it with someone on Reddit this week about this, that it makes more sense to just buy it legally and support Carbine at the same time. You know,
Yeah.
even if it's a difference of $5, I would rather buy cred and support Carbine than go buy it illegally, risk losing my account, risk, you know, getting banned and not supporting Carbine. Like, I'd rather just put it back into the game.
If they're good to us, and I'd rather give them a little extra because if they continue to be good, it will trickle down. So when you'll reap the benefit.
Yeah, it will only
of
benefit us
paying
as the
that.
players.
Yeah,
to give
exactly.
them more money. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I didn't understand. This person was like, "No, you won't get banned." I'm like, "Well, even if you don't get banned for buying gold from a third-party seller, wouldn't you rather support the company of the game you're
'Cause-
playing?"
Gonna trickle down.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it
you're
makes
the
sense to
down.
me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
If they don't have revenue, they ain't making things. They don't have the ability to hire all the people and make the system run. I agree with you. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
That's the final ruling.
exactly. Stop
Done.
buying gold from third-party sellers. Damn it. Stop it. All right. So
Cheapskate.
exactly.
What I find to be more of controversial thing is the idea that they don't plan to add more character slots for a while, because I don't know about you, but you get a bunch of alts right in mind that you want to line up, lock in the names and so forth, but they're talking about not adding more slots.
Well, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier about space. The big thing too is that, you know, the more money they get when the game becomes successful, not if, when, because it will be. When the game becomes successful, they'll have more money to put back in the game. That also means they'll be able to expand their server tech. And the biggest thing that takes up so much room is that you have 6 characters that each have a housing plot that has close to 1,000 pieces on it at max. And that's a lot of space.
Yeah,
it's a lot of space for one character. I mean, they want us to have that nice, robust housing system, but it does come at a cost. So it's, again, you know, being patient. It's not to say that they'll never do it. We just need to make sure, again, that we're funneling our money back into Carbine so that they can make those things happen for us. You know, maybe we'll see it in an expansion or something like that at some point.
And that's the thing, too, is they do have a lot of plans for down the road and what they plan to do. It's just right now, time, assets, money, getting this thing out for launch. You know, it's not viable to just, you can't have everything in the game immediately on launch, which makes sense. You got to build up the system.
Look at what they did for the body types. That was something that people wanted. That last minute they made it happen,
which was huge.
How incredible is that? Yeah, like right before
that was a
launch,
lot.
They put that in.
That was a lot of work in that.
So I mean, they want to do everything they can for us. They really love us. They love us, guys. Can you feel the love?
Don't let them down.
I'm so fuzzy.
So we need to love them back and be patient because they want to give us all this stuff. There's so much that they want to give us. They just don't have the resources. I mean, it's the same reason why, you know, only 3 to 4% of the player base was invited to the closed beta, because they just didn't have the server tech to invite 1 million plus people all at once.
And that's the thing too. That's a little bit about human nature, though. Is the game is good, you like it, you want it, you want it all. You know, give me it all now. That's a little bit of human nature, and maybe the gamer personality. I don't know, but it's that.
Stop being entitled.
Yeah, you want it, you want it all, and it's like, you know, you got to put the reins on the all and do a good time. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, it goes to show, like, every single time you see them, they're like, you know, we're listening, we know, we want to do it, we understand. And, you know, they make it happen when they can, but there's some things that, you know, we're going to have to wait for.
That's the other thing, too, is we sit there and say, oh, we want this, or we want that. But what we don't realize is probably the 10,000 other things that thing affects.
Yeah.
So not only do you can't just have X without affecting all the other XYZs.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of people that'll say that it's just this or it's just that, or why can't they just do this? It's not that simple.
Just that. Yeah, exactly.
It's
it
really
is far more complicated, and when you change that one thing, you're affecting 25 others that have.
And I mean that applies to any game, not just them.
Yeah.
So we're not just being, you know, fanboys and sticking up for them. This is just, you know, common sense stuff.
Simple mechanics of how it works.
So just be patient with them, guys. They want to make it happen. They want us to have the best game we can. So they'll get there. All right. Something a few of my friends have complained about to me said that they have actually touched on work for a Mac version. Just touched on it. I think he said weekend work by a couple of the devs. So they're not making any promises yet, but it is in their mind. So
it surprises me, though, that they have time to entertain that right now.
Yeah, me too, honestly. And then they said also, the even less popular, Linux. They said, not for quite a while. We're not even close to that.
Yeah.
So that's even further in the future. I know Linux is becoming a little more popular with, you know, the Steam OS and all that, but I would think it would make more sense to do the Mac first.
Yeah, I mean, it is probably more than the Linux. Yeah.
But that's going to be, again, another have patience thing. It'll probably be a year or more. So housing. I love me some housing.
Yes, you do.
So they had talked about or hinted at one point that they were working on some kind of guild connection with housing. And what they said is they are working on guild neighborhoods.
Very cool.
Wow.
So not exactly sure what all that entails, but they said they don't want to do just a guild house. They want it to connect everyone so it's personal to each person, but still connected to your guild.
I still think a guild hall would be very cool to have as a socialization point for your guild, that central point.
The only thing that I worry about with the guild neighborhood is how it's implemented, because that is phased by itself, your house. You know, it's your own separate little instance. If they're going to put it so you're connected, are you going to see, you know, everyone's house? And then what kind of effect would that have on, you know, your hardware and the performance of your game, you know?
Yeah, 'cause what if you have like 100 members and they're all in one instant?
And then there's people that put in, you know, 1,000 pieces on their plot.
But I'm still roping my head back around to they need guild halls, because what's the difference of if everybody's hanging outside the bank or the auction house or whatever you want to call it, but everybody's going to
bank at your
everybody's going to conglomerate somewhere. So why not give people that are playing with the guilds a place to congregate pre-raid, maybe pre-war plot, maybe a place to kind of get together and say, okay, we got everything ready, and then maybe that's a place where other guild members can get portals. Maybe I can contribute. Oh, I'm going to get this portal instead of putting it on my plot. I'm going to put it at the guild plot.
I think part of it too is that they're trying to deter people from hanging out in like instanced areas like that. Like there's a reason they don't have more stuff like mailboxes or auction house or things like that on your housing plot, because it's an MMO. They want it to feel alive. They want you, if you're going to be hanging out somewhere, they want you in Ilium, for us, in town. They want you to see other people. And I think a guild hall would kind of deter that, because, you know, you have your housing and you're probably going to spend time there. You might invite some friends over, and they have, you know, like raid portals and stuff, but people are only going to come over to, you know, your house for the raid portal when you're doing a raid. They're probably not just going to sit there on your housing plot, you know, all day, unless they really love you, I guess. But, you know, I think that's what it is. I think it encourages more people being out in the world and more, you know, open, more social, be like, hey, there's people here, so it feels more alive.
I still think there's a way around that. I still think that I really like the idea of the guild hall, because I think that it would prove to be a great value, and people wouldn't have to give up their housing, because one way or another it is going to be generated, whether you like it or not. And so you might as well embrace it and then control it, versus letting the player base create somebody giving up their house, whatever the case, and creating it on their own. Maybe you limit what is there and available, so it still will push people to, if I'm just going to hang, more than likely I'm going to have more resources if I'm in town, or something to that effect. Maybe there's limits on a guild hall and what it can and cannot have.
Yeah, but then if they do that, what's the difference between having a housing plot and just having a guild hall? I mean,
size, multiple members being able to contribute. So instead of just me working on my house and my plot, now you have a guild trying to create, and everybody contributing to creating a potentially very large, elaborate
do housing plots plot. Too. You can invite people to be like your roommates, and they can build.
You can.
So
I feel like I'm like the neutral guy here, and you're both on the opposite side.
Debate.
I'm kind of iffy on this as well, because I'm going to relate to my personal life and say that my mom won't let me put a mini fridge in my room because I'll never come out. And she's probably right.
Probably right.
So if you like relate this to Wildstar, if you have an auction house, mailboxes, you know, all the crafting traders and all that, then you're never going to go to Ilium, and you're never going to socialize in an MMO that you need to socialize. But at the same time, I feel like as a guild, you should have some perks to having a cool guild hall, like Cabal was saying.
Yeah.
Talking about adding more terrain types and stuff with the houses.
Yes.
You know, so you're not going to be just stuck to the you know, the plain dirt or grass or whatever you want. But yeah, they're going to add terrain customization, which, you know, you tie all that in.
You know what's funny is I saw so many people in open beta complaining about the dirt and the grass. I was like, really?
This is what we're worrying about.
What are you complaining about dirt and grass for? Get out of here. Come come on. But I mean, yeah, it is cool that they're planning to, let you change the turf. I mean, you could change the sky. Sometimes I've thought that was a little weird. Like, I tried on the snowy sky, and I was like, it'd be cool if I could have snowy ground. It would, match better. So they are looking at doing that. They also said, this is incredible. I love this. They are looking to tune things monthly, and they will be doing quarterly updates. And then hot fixes will go in weekly for things that come up that are like, crazy emergency, like people are exploiting and leveling to 50 instantly or something. So they're going to be dropping content pretty regularly.
Which goes back to what they've been saying all along. They've been saying we're preparing our staff to make regular updates, to really get content out.
So they say, roughly every 3 months or so, we're going to get new content, new updates, new things like that. And they've said that over the next year and a half, they'll be dropping an expansion's worth of content.
Now, is this...
that's insane.
Now you think about that, that's free of charge other than your sub.
Yeah.
Which
going
is...
in with your sub.
Yeah, that's pretty nice to see, because you're paying the sub, but I also, with that sub, expect that I will get certain things, or certain things will come through.
All right, so we have a lot of stuff going on around the community this week. A lot of cool stuff with some of our Carbine devs and some stuff with some community members. So the big one of this week, which I'm sure a lot of people heard of, is Frost's tweet heard around the world. This is great. I love this. To quote him directly, he said, "I just read a Reddit post asking if Carbine would please tune down the difficulty for leveling dungeons in Wildstar. No."
Awesome. I love that. It's like, let me think about it. No.
Had to put the pause there because there was the ...
That goes back to...
It's really not that hard. Like, I haven't had any problems. You just move.
But the thing is it's good to see, Carbine sticking to their guns still, that we're not going to change, and this is what we're creating, and if this doesn't fit for you, well, then go play a different game.
It's not your game. And I mean, here's the thing. Those leveling dungeons are intended to teach you to be better before you get to the raids. Because if you've watched some of those raid videos, holy shit. You think the dungeons are hard.
Oh, yeah.
We're not prepared.
Yeah, exactly. You are not prepared. On Twitter, just before we went to record, I went and updated this. This received 341 favorites and 269 retweets. Yeah, on Reddit, it got 600 upvotes.
Yeah. Most of the player bases in that are probably the more hardcore Wildstar player are in line with what they're what Carbine's want.
They're definitely okay with it the way it is.
Yeah.
So this one's a little bit sadder. This is not very good. Community manager Scooter, David Bass, is going to be leaving Carbine. Actually, yesterday was his last day at Carbine. He was on the live stream.
Oh, I'm all teary-eyed again.
It's very sad. Scooter's done a lot to help the community for Wildstar. He's been the face of a lot of our live streams to this point, all the class live streams and all that, and he's been a great member of the Carbine team. To quote what he said here, he said, "There's no real perfect time to leave a team, especially with MMOs that have no real end. But the truth is, my personal life's taken a turn, and I've made the impossibly difficult decision to leave Carbine. The guys will continue building up the community team, and will share some of their plans with you in the near future. And I have no doubt that you guys will see some amazing stuff as we get ready for the launch and beyond."
I wish him all the best, and I think he did a great job, and it sounds like he left on very good terms with Carbine.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully everything in his personal life works out great, and hopefully things move forward in a very positive way for him.
Yeah, and we just want to say here on our show, personally, thank you to Scooter for everything that you've done, and we'll miss you very much. All right, we have Team Legacy. No Fan Left Behind initiative. This is a really cool thing. I actually spotted this on Reddit. They did have it posted on the Wildstar forums as well. Team Legacy, who is mainly a PvP guild, but they're partnering with a lot of members of the community, and they're bringing the No Player Left Behind initiative. And what this is, is an initiative to bring players who might have more experience, might have played a little longer, into a TeamSpeak server with them during the duration of the open beta to answer questions for people that are new or coming into the game, you know, that might not have the knowledge that anyone else does. We'll leave a link to the TeamSpeak server for anyone that might be new or might have questions, or if you're just looking for people to hang out with that, you know, are open and available to play with. We'll leave a link to the server. We'll leave a link to the post from Team Legacy. And also, once you get into that TeamSpeak server, just look for somebody with an Ask Me next to their name. It's a little blue icon and it'll say Ask Me. And you can ask those people questions at any point. And last but definitely not least, I'm going to give a shout out to my girl SaltyOkra. She does some amazing Wildstar fan art. And I mean amazing. This week she drew a picture of my Chua for me, and I am in love with it. It is so great.
Well, I tell you, I was talking with you, and I went over to her Tumblr and I took a look at her work, and you caught my initial reaction. Yeah. Wow, that is just awesome.
She's so good.
And
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, she is wicked talented, and
yeah.
I believe you were saying she was going to do a condensed version of how she does it, which I just looking at her complete pictures, I can't wait to just see that. It's her work is amazing. I definitely check it out.
The great thing about what she does too is there's a lot of artists that can kind of just do one style. If you look at her Tumblr, she does several different kinds of styles, and that's incredible. Like, I chose one that was kind of cartoony, you know, the Chua, but she has ones that look like, you know, they're watercolors and like a little more serious, more realistic looking ones. I mean, it's incredible. They're amazing. And she can do all kinds of stuff. She does, you know, Twitter or YouTube banners, you know, guild banners. She does streaming overlays. She can do anything you want.
I was gonna say, suffice to say, she can pretty much, you want it, you talk to her, she's gonna end up hashing it out for you. I mean, she's unreal talented. It's just amazing
stuff. She'll do it on a stream, you know, and with myself, and I'm sure with anybody else, she'll take your input, you know, right from the stream. If you're like, hey, can we fix this? You know, she's perfectly fine with doing that. You know, she's not gonna be offended if you want to change something. You know?
Very, very easygoing person to get along
she's
with,
a total
and
sweetheart.
I mean, it definitely, if you're in the market to, you know, look into something like that, it definitely give SaltyOkra a look. I mean, check her Tumblr out. It's just amazing work.
Yeah, and I will definitely leave a link to that under the video. And she is taking commissions now. She's starting to get filled up because, you know, everybody's seen it and everybody knows how awesome she is. So I'll leave you guys a link to all the information to get a hold of her in the description. But I would definitely recommend it. Take a look at her Tumblr. She's worth it. Totally.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
100%. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you for listening to us again. You can follow me on Twitter for show updates and more. Got lots of cool stuff on there. Follow me at Jazzy_Chua. You can find Nuts on his YouTube channel. He's got reviews, playthroughs, and commentaries for a lot of different games, not just Wildstar. He actually plays other stuff sometimes. You can find him at youtube.com/Cluffy142. And we've got Cabal on Twitter. He needs some love on there, guys. Make sure you follow him. His name is Cabal_Makari. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys thought about what we've talked about today. Leave us a comment. We'll see you guys.